Welcome back. You're tuned into Midcap Radar on CNBC TV18. Well, as promised, let's get in Mr. Vayu Garware, who's the chairman and MD at Garware Technical Fibres, to discuss the quarterly earnings. Well, the numbers have been decent. There is a revenue growth this time around of 33%, and profits have also gone up by 49% on a YY basis. Mr. Garware, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on CNBC TV18. Well, I actually wanted to speak to you about the impact on your business because of the second wave of COVID that we have seen, and because of the intermittent lockdowns as well, because the first half of any financial year is actually good for your domestic business. So how has this impacted your business?
Good afternoon, and thank you for having us in your show. If I may, I'll just take a moment and give you a recap of FY2021. Being a year due to COVID, I must say our team has really made it a landmark year for our company, and we have been able to cross our profit before tax record of 200 crores and post-tax record of 150 crores in FY21, despite our first quarter being almost closed. So we were able to make most of it up. And as you said, the fourth quarter growth of about 50%. International business actually has been very much on track and on plan. And even in last year, Q3 and Q4, the domestic business significantly rebounded. One other highlight for us is last year, we focused a lot on cash release, and actually we were able to significantly improve our cash generation from operations, which has allowed us a very strong balance sheet position again, further strengthening it. Regarding your question on the second wave of COVID, of course, as you all know, it's been even worse than the first wave, but we have focused a lot in the company. First priority, of course, in safety of the team and family members. And I must say, touch wood, we have been quite successful in being able to manage the situation quite well. So we have not had any significant impact. Compared to last year, of course, the plants are working at almost full capacity. And we have a very strong international order book right now, so that helps us. As far as the domestic market is concerned, yes, April and May have been quite poor. We're hoping that things will improve from June onwards. And as we get into our main fishing season, etc., starts generally in July. So we are hopeful by then things will have settled down a little bit, and we should see a reasonable second quarter.
So, Mr. Garware, can you quantify it in terms of, you did say that domestic business has hit hard because of the second wave of COVID. If you compare it to 2019 levels, how has it been?
It's about 20% or so less, but as I said, we have a good international order book, so we are expecting overall on the quarter we should be okay, not too bad.
International order book like? Can you quantify that?
Sorry, we don't actually track an order book, but we have good orders in hand. So, okay. Yeah, we are okay. Because generally our cycle time between order and dispatch is, roughly 45 to 60 days.
Okay.
So it's not a significant long-term order book in that sense. It's a product sale. So.
I wanted to speak to you about salmon aquaculture as well, because it's around 35% of your revenues. Now we are hearing about a shift from offshore to land-based salmon farming. Will it impact business in some way? Because this is something that every analyst has also been talking about.
Yeah, sure. So land-based salmon farming is a lot in the news. It's a very technically challenging project. A lot of people have been doing it for some time. It's difficult to simulate nature's conditions artificially. So there are challenges. There are often large amounts of mortality because one disease gets in and, the entire crop, so to speak, has a problem. So there are a lot of companies working on it. Right now, it's still in very early stages. And I think the general view of the industry is that it's not going to reduce marine farming. There may be some mix because the demand of salmon is growing very well. So there may be some mix of some land-based farming, but it's not yet at the same cost levels as doing ocean farming. So it's significantly more expensive and much more complex.
Okay. So, Mr. Garware, if you can give us an outlook, what kind of revenue growth are you expecting in FY22? And margins, they were under a little bit pressure, especially on the gross margin front in Q4. Do you expect it to improve? What is the situation as far as raw material prices are concerned?
So, we don't really have give outlooks for the year. However, having said that, for margins, we have consistently moved our margins up. Value addition over raw materials from 67% almost in F19 have moved to 71%. And this is a very, very core part of our strategy. So as we see better and better product mix and new value-added products getting adopted, this margin improvement is continuing. We're seeing actually right now some very good adoption of our new solutions globally in Norway, Scotland, as well as actually in India in the agri business as well as the fisheries business. So actually that should give a good outlook for the next couple of years. So we don't see a significant issue on margins. There has been a large increase in raw materials as with many commodities around the world. However, that's already started coming back down, and we generally have a lag, but because we will change our prices accordingly. So we don't see that as a sustaining margin pressure.
Okay.
We should be able to recover from that.
And last question before we let you go, you have a free cash flow of around 210 crore rupees. Will you see further investments? Will there be a buyback? Any acquisition that you're looking at?
Yes, we've just done one buyback recently, so we will continue to examine this. It's a capital structure issue that's always being looked at. We are constantly looking for acquisition opportunities. We have a team that is very much focused on that. So we will look at the most efficient way to deploy the cash. Right now, it's a good problem to have. We have a good surplus on our balance sheet. So we are looking at how to deploy it and effectively utilize it.
Okay. All right, Mr. Garware, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those details. And good luck for your future quarters. With that, we'll slip into a short break now. Up next, we'll get you the key events to watch from the global markets on the other side. Stay tuned.